A few weeks ago, OpenAI released several generative AI text-to-video clips from its new product Sora that, simply put, gave the internet a small heart attack.
OpenAI has unveiled its new text-to-video model. It's calling it Sora.
The tool is named Sora, and it has the potential to revolutionize the content creation space.
All you have to do is enter in a text prompt, you hit generate, and it creates what you see in front of you.
It's an eye-opening moment.
But back to the point, this footage is phenomenal. I mean, yes, not all of it is very realistic. The AI is still making oodles of errors. It really struggles with unrealistic prompts like in underwater New York City or, hands. But its 3D animation is scarily good.
And its use of lighting in clips like this honestly makes everything look real.
And like Marquez Brownlee said,
do you remember when this was what AI-generated videos look like? Remember when we said, okay, this AI stuff is cool and all, but clearly there's a long way to go before there's any need for concern. Welcome to the future, people, because this is also an AI-generated video. This is where we were 1 year ago.
So here's the question. What are the potential consequences of technology like this? The answer is there's some really incredible, awesome, big things that this technology could do. And there's also some really, really scary things that this technology could also do. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, right? And the consequences of AI-generated video is actually so large that OpenAI is refusing to release the product anytime soon. Instead, they're working with filmmakers and studios and lawmakers to try to determine, what are the positive use cases for this, and also what safeguards need to be put in place, which I think is an A+ move. 10 out of 10, would recommend. But what are the consequences? What are the stakes? And what are the potential benefits? Let's find out. First thing that Sora is likely to do is to either destroy or permanently transform the stock footage industry. What stock footage, you ask? Well, it's things like this and this and this and this.
Stock footage companies sell photo and video footage to advertisers, film and TV studios, and yes, YouTubers, to provide what is known as B-roll footage. So if you need video of New York, DC, flowers in a big field, a crying baby,
fun special effects like these flashes or whatever,
or of course, businesswomen eating salads, you can incorporate that into any video.
I personally use Storyblocks, who aren't sponsors of this channel, but should be.
Whether you have realized it or not, you have likely been watching B-roll stock footage in nearly every video you have consumed for decades.
Or perhaps you, like my baby 4-year-old cousin, love to watch stock footage
of car dashboards for 45 minutes at a time on YouTube to see how fast the race cars go zoom.
Babysitting Gen Alpha is fun, guys. Very fun. But with AI footage like this and this and this, I think that stock footage companies are really going to have to jump on the bandwagon and either partner with Sora or another AI software or build their own. Otherwise, they're going to be in for really nasty next couple of years. Not even to mention the artists who make a living creating stock footage. I've also spoken to many creatives and artists who are rightly concerned about whether there's going to be massive job loss in industries like film and television, advertising, journalism, publishing, animation, etc., etc.
I can think of so many jobs that could be lost.
21% of U.S. film, TV, and animation jobs predicted to be partially or wholly replaced.
When you think about some of the most recent Pixar movies, when you think about the amount of energy that they go into to literally build every detail so that their hair moves in the right way and things, this stuff now, is a computer doing without a single person?
What that yields in the long run, it remains to be seen. But again, not yet released to the public, but at some point it very much could be very prevalent.
I do think there is reason to be concerned, and I do think we need to be advocating for these people to keep their jobs. However, when it comes to AI tools like Sora, I think they're actually going to have a really positive impact on the film industry, and here's why. AI tools in filmmaking like Sora or like the variety of tools that are now available in Adobe Premiere are going to make it dramatically easier for young indie filmmakers to make the films of their dreams. I graduated from college 10 years ago with a degree in film, and back then it was easier than ever, but still incredibly difficult to actually make a feature film. Frankly, it cost a ton of money. I'm talking tens and tens of thousands of dollars to make your classic little indie film. And frankly, not all of us had $60,000 loans from their successful artist parents who just really wanted to see their daughter's dreams come true. Yes, we're talking about you, Lena Dunham. We love you. But what? But here's the thing. Now you can make a feature film for under $1,000 on your phone. You can do that. That was not possible 10 years ago, or at least it was not advised. You can use AI to create background music for free. You can use AI to cut the editing process in half. You can use AI to help you break out of writer's block and finish writing your script faster. And soon you can use AI to get personalized stock footage for all of your B-roll shots. And yes, this is already happening on TikTok and YouTube, we know this. But I think it's gonna be an absolute game changer for people who are trying to break into Hollywood. And this also opens the door for people from underrepresented backgrounds in Hollywood to make things for dramatically cheaper, but at the quality level that people expect, and to make films that we have been asking for that we haven't been getting. I'm talking rom-coms, I'm talking dramedies, I'm talking more comedies. Are you sick of watching Frozen over and over again? We could have more animated films. If you want, we could have even more superhero films. Even more. It's amazing. So yes, this software is likely going to cause job loss at big Hollywood studios. Unless, of course, studios simply double or triple the amount of production that they are doing so they don't have to fire anyone and they are able to make double or triple the profits and give everybody raises. That is also an equally possible possibility. But the reality is that Hollywood studios are struggling. Their business model is no longer sustainable, and there is a reason why they all keep buying each other out. It is too expensive for them to exist. And with this software, young filmmakers, young animators, whatever, are going to be able to compete with the major studios when it comes to making quality films. Is this going to be the case for every industry? I don't know. Probably not. But in this particular case, it will allow people from underrepresented backgrounds who have never been able to break into Hollywood in the numbers that they deserve to actually make the projects they want to make and have that success. And that is incredible. We cannot ignore that. And another quick thing that I do want to note is that Sora seems remarkably bad at creating unrealistic footage. The paper airplanes, the paper coral reefs, underwater New York City, magically appearing wolf pups. I think what we are going to see as technically advanced is going to change, and that we are still going to need people to add that human touch. In addition, I think we are also going to start really holding human-made art on a pedestal. What I'm less sure about, and what I am more worried about, is whether that translates to dollars. And I think that's some food for thought for all of us. Next, and this is probably my biggest personal concern with AI-generated video, even if it's not like my biggest existential concern with AI-generated video, is explicit content being made. Violence or sexual content, porn, lots of porn, revenge porn, just in general, featuring people who did not consent to be in it. And the good news is that this is something that OpenAI seems to be very worried about and is very likely the reason why OpenAI has not launched Sora to the public.
On their website, they state that their text classifier will check and reject text input prompts that are in violation of our usage policies, like those that request extreme violence, sexual content, hateful imagery, celebrity likeness, or the IP of others. We've also developed robust image classifiers that are used to review the frames of every video generated to help ensure that it adheres to our usage policies before it's shown to the user. They have also stated that they will be engaging policymakers, educators, and artists around the world to understand their concerns and to identify positive use cases for this new technology.
But the reality is, when we talk about AI-generated video, we are not just talking about companies like OpenAI and Sora who want to do the right thing. The reality is there are going to be dozens, hundreds, or thousands of competitors who are trying to dominate in this space. And frankly, creating content like this is gonna be a really big moneymaker. And there are gonna be a lot of bad actors who are going to want to take advantage of this situation. And on top of that, there is a reason why platforms like Twitter, the most recent X-rated platform had difficulty getting rid of pornographic images of Taylor Swift off its platform. And the reason why is because there's a lot of people who suck out there, guys. Because lots of people suck. What can I say? But the bigger concerns that I have are not necessarily celebrity instances of this. I don't know that we are going to be able to really avoid that successfully. What I'm more concerned about is private citizens who are going to be taken advantage of in this context by people going onto Facebook and taking their photos and taking their videos and using that to create content either for things like revenge porn or to scare them with violence, or as an extension of some of these AI-generated scam calls. There have already been thousands of instances of people answering the phone and hearing the voices of their loved ones screaming, saying that they've been kidnapped and that they need a certain amount of money sent to them in order for them not to be killed. This has been a big issue. If you haven't gotten one of these calls, I haven't, thank goodness. It sounds absolutely terrifying. And with AI-generated videos, these type of scam phone calls are now going to become scam videos. They're going to be able to create video footage of your loved ones being kidnapped, and it's going to look extremely realistic. Now, to be clear, OpenAI's Sora is trying to make sure this does not happen. But again, when it comes to AI-generated video, Sora is not the only company doing that. There are many, and not all of them are going to try to do the right thing. And with the internet's really ugly and long history of revenge porn, it's going to become more and more risky for people like me, who, like a fool, makes videos on YouTube of myself, or of people like your children whose photos you've shared on Instagram and Facebook for videos of them to be created. All they need is honestly a handful of photos, and if there's videos, it's even better. And I'm actually really dead serious about that. I honestly don't really know how many photos and videos we should be sharing of children online. And don't even get me started on family vloggers. And not even getting into like the explicit type of content. Can you imagine if somebody were to create a video of you saying things that you never said or doing things that you never did? I mean, if you've been quote unquote canceled, it's almost impossible to get that kind of stuff off of Google, unless, of course, you're Donald Trump and you collect indictments for a living. But listen, not all of us can get away with being convicted of over 90 felonies and get away with it without going to jail now, can we? Ugh, gross. And speaking of Trump, This is an election year.
So for this technology to come to the fore when the U.S. and 60% of the world population is going to the polls,
elections.
like what? That is
frightening.
very scary. We already have this problem with deep fakes.
Forget deep fakes. They got to come up with another word.
And the big concerns over misinformation, disinformation.
That's the much bigger concern. We're approaching a world where it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to tell what is real from what is not.
And we are already in the midst of the most misinformation that has ever existed. And people paying attention to the news is at its lowest point ever. And legacy journalism organizations are running out of money and they are failing to innovate. Seriously, over 20,000 journalists have lost their jobs since the beginning of 2023. And now Vice is collapsing? Because let's be clear, there are more news organizations than just the New York Times, CNN, and the entertainment network Fox News. Local journalism is in crisis mode and people aren't paying attention. Do I need to say more? With tools like Sora, even with safety measures put into place, we are going to see videos of politicians and celebrities saying things that they never said or doing things that they never did. Or possibly worse, we're gonna see real footage of them saying things and doing things that they did and then blaming it on AI generated video. And how are we gonna prove them wrong? We're gonna see even more videos of things like aliens or other conspiracy theories and be unable to determine whether or not the footage is real. Or worse, we're going to see AI generated video of war crimes that people are trying to use to start conflicts. Things can get really ugly really, really fast, and we do not have the infrastructure or the tools to combat this kind of misinformation. Frankly, we're bad at this now just by people lying all the time. One of the most surprising things that I have seen online lately was an interview with Hank Green on the Colin and Samir show. And most specifically, when he was talking about how he thought the invention of YouTube was going to be just as impactful as the invention of the printing press.
This is such a silly sentence when I first thought of it in my, it felt like this was going to be as big of a deal as the printing press. Like, not YouTube, but like online media. And that seemed so silly, and now we're like, oh, it probably is, and that's probably fucking terrifying rather than really exciting. The printing press really sort of fucked things up for a while, and there were like hundreds of years of religious wars about it because all the power structures got fractured, which ultimately was good, but in the short term was messy and dangerous. Like 2007, not messy and dangerous. 2024, very messy and dangerous, it feels like.
Now, I don't know if AI is the new printing press, but I do think that this combination of technology, so social media and content and generative AI, and the fact that we are watching the potential disintegration and destruction of institutions like news organizations, education, and governments means that we can no longer say that what happens online is not relevant. Generative AI has the power to do some incredible things: cure diseases, find solutions for climate change, speed up scientific research, just in general. There are all sorts of wonderful things that AI language models have the power to do that people are already using them for, which is going to make the world a dramatically better place, and I am so excited to see it. But I also think that we are also officially in the messy times, and we can only wait and see what's going to happen next. 2024 is going to be a wild ride. So if you are not paying attention, I implore you to do so at least a little bit, maybe once a week, and put your critical thinking caps on. 2024 is going to be a big year. Are you ready for it? Hi, thank you so much for watching. In case you don't know me, hi, I'm Carolyn, and my tech evaluation show, my startup and tech evaluation show that has been gone for almost 2 years, a year and a half, is officially back. And I am so excited to share my thoughts and observations on the tech and startup industry with you. If you don't know me, I've spent the last 7 years working in startups, tech, and venture capital. And yes, I'm job hunting again, so if any of you are watching and are like, wow, this kid's smart, feel free to hire me. I would love a job. And I can't wait for more of these episodes to come out. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and liking this video. If you liked it, leave me a comment. All of those things will help more people like you who love this kind of content to watch more of it. And I'd love to see you there. Thanks so much. Bye.